Hello, cyclocross friends. It's Thursday, October 24, 2019, and you are tuned in to episode 8 of the Voler Apparel CXHAIRS Power Rankings. Brought to you by Voler Premium Collections and Custom Apparel for Women and Men. U.S. made and built with pride and purpose for your best ride. Available exclusively at voler.com. VOLER.com. This week's episode is presented by the Miller School of Albemarle Endurance Team, which is an internationally recognized high school cycling program and a USA Cycling Center of Excellence. Its global team is united by a passion for cycling and a drive to succeed in both athletics and academics. Having garnered multiple national championships, college scholarships, UCI World Championship team selections, and professional cycling contracts, MSA has proven to be the world's premier high school for developing junior cyclists. You can find out more at millerschoolofalbemarle.org. And now, on with the show. We have 7 weeks of racing under our belt in North America, and after last week's split squad outings, we're all back on the same page and in the nation's capital at DCCX, with the exception of some of our CXHAIRS favorites who have traveled to Switzerland for the Bern World Cup. For episode 8 of the CXHAIRS Power Rankings, we are starting with the men's side and the 11th spot, which finds Michael Vandenham dropping from 7th to practically off the charts. If you've been following along, you know the Lars van der Haar rule states that in the absence of Matthew van der Poel, the CXHAIRS must have at least one Dutch guy in the mix. And in the absence of anyone from the Netherlands, one guy with a Dutch name will suffice. However, revered Walden Pond CX race director Henry David Thoreau once said, "Any fool can make a rule, and every fool will mind it." And we don't want to be fools. So MVDH, you've got your work cut out for you at Cincy this week, or you may become the next model in the Heat Check Sports Illustrated cover jinx, Lars van der Haar rule or not. In 10th spot, falling from number 5, is Eric Brunner. Great win 2 weekends ago in Colorado, but the heat check is fueled by what have you done for me lately grade gasoline. And that brings us to number 9, and Travis the Privateer Liverman. Not a privateer in the sense that he's engaging in maritime warfare under the commission of a government, but more that he's racing on his own terms and doing it quite well, following up a Charm City high finish with a 4th place on Saturday at DCCX. In the 8th spot and bucking the Sports Illustrated cover jinx is Drew Dillman. 3rd and 4th place finish at DCCX keeps Dizzle safely aboard the SS Heat Check. Coming in at number 7 is Spencer Petrov. 4th place at DCCX on Saturday, and fighting through the pain for 6th on Sunday moves Spence up from 10th to 7th. In 6th place, we are
waiting to see one Lane Meyer
continue to move up the CX Heat Check Power Rankings this week from 9th to 6th. Which brings us to our top 5, and into 5th place is Stephen High. Don't call it a comeback. He's been here for years, rocking his peers, putting suckers in fear. Huge J2 win in the mud and slop at DCCX following a 2nd place on DCCX Day 1 has Hyde moving up on the CX Heat Check Power Rankings. In 4th place, in a bit of a holding pattern, is Gage Hecht. No racing last week, but all eyes will be on him at Cincy in a few days. And in 3rd place, also in a holding pattern, is Lance Hayden. Another week farther in the season means another week to grow the flow.
Some killer flow from Lakeville, and this kid's not trying too hard. He's letting the game come to him. We call this the diamond in the fluff.
Which means we are left with only 2 spots on the Voler CX Heat Check Power Rankings. And if you've been following along every week, you already know who the candidates are for top spot. According to cross results in the last 12 months, hang on. That's last week's script. Why are we doing it again? Oh, because there's no change at the top. Curtis White opted out of the second half of the Parkway CX Trophy Series, and Kerry Werner was on the top step of Day 1 of DCCX, meaning White remains 2nd, and Kerry Werner remains on top of the power ranking. The only suspense left is whether Werner will also stay atop the Kenny versus Becky microcheck rankings. And here for your viewing pleasure is the top 11 men in this week's CX Heat Check Power Rankings. As you study the list while simultaneously questioning our grasp on reality, we will move on to the women.
Raylan, in the interest of clarity, I'm going to be as straightforward about this as possible.
You're at number 11. 4th and 3rd place finishes at DCCX keep Raylan Nuss in the CX Heat Check in a week of stiff competition. In the 10th spot is Carolyn Mani. Frenchie spent Sunday racing the World Cup in Bern and finishing 22nd. That result keeps her in the power rankings, but drops her from 4th to 10th. In 9th place is the young gun, Maddie Monroe. Bringing her talents to Ohio this weekend, Monroe will look to reverse her slide from 5th. in last week's Power Rankings. In 8th place is Katie Compton. The champ looks strong, reeling off a 6th place finish at Bern and is poised to continue climbing as her European campaign continues. In 7th place is the final member of our American Heat Check European contingent. Katie Keogh has been absent from the Power Rankings since episode 4, but a 4th place finish at Bern is a good sign that the Euro trip is already paying dividends. In 6th place is Katarina Nash, arguably also a member of the American Heat Check European contingent. Nash finished 7th at Bern and maintained the lead in the World Cup, which keeps her safely in the Power Rankings. And that brings us to the top 5. And in 5th place is the return of Sammy Runnels. A 2nd place finish on day 1 of DCCX and a 5th place finish on Muddy Day 2 puts the Squid Squad rider back on the board at number 5. In 4th position is Courtney McFadden, another racer who has been on and off the Heat Check Power Rankings more times than we can count, and this is only episode 8. A 3rd place on DCCX day 1 and a 2nd step finish on day 2 has McFadden in at number 4. And here we are at the top 3. For the past 2 episodes, the CXHAIRS Power Rankings podium positions have been occupied by Clara Honsinger, Magli Rochette, and Becca Faringer. Rochette, who finished 11th at the recent Bern World Cup, placed 1st on the Power Rankings in episode 6. Honsinger, the steady Eddie, the smiling assassin, the quiet killer, stood on the top step last week. Faringer, who won both days of DCCX and swept the Parkway CX Trophy Series, has never been higher than 3rd. So how will it pan out? On the 3rd step of the CX Heat Check Power Rankings is Magli Rochette, which means it's down to Honsinger and Faringer. Faringer and Honsinger. Who will reign supreme in CX Heat Check land? Who? Well, that's easy. It's Becca Faringer. Nobody racing in North America is on a hotter streak with 4 wins in a row. And if a hot streak can't get you on the top of the Heat Check, what can?
More like F yeah, Heat Check. Heat Check this out.
And there you have it, episode 8 of the CX Heat Check. As you take another look at the top 11 women in the Voler Apparel CX Heat Check Power Rankings, I want to remind you that this week's episode is brought to you by the Miller School of Albemarle Endurance Team. You can find out more by visiting millerschoolofalbemarle.org. Let us know your thoughts by using the hashtag CXHeatCheck. Leave a comment below, subscribe to the channel, and tell your cyclocross friends to do the same. Also, hit us up at feedback@cxhairs.com with your questions and comments, and also go to wideanglepodium.com and become a member. It's our member drive, and the Heat Check is one of the shows you can support by becoming a member of the Wide Angle Podium Network. Hit the donate button and choose Cyclocross Television as one of the shows you wish to support. Until next time, I'm Bill Scheiken for CXHAIRS and the Wide Angle Podium Network. Talk to you soon, cyclocross friends.